Hi everyone, and thank you for joining today. My name is Catherine and I'm part of the digital team here at ANZ and would like to welcome you to today's ANZ Transactive Global training webinar, where our topic will be service requests. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the various lands on which our attendees are joining from today. I pay my respect to elders past and present and to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. These webinars are designed to provide you with information and resources to unlock the full potential that ANZ Transactive Global has to offer your business. This includes a full range of institutional banking services, including cash management, data insights, loans, commercial cards, trade, and markets. ANZ has brought these together to create a complete omni-channel digital banking experience. Please feel free to utilise the Q&A function throughout today's session. We'll aim to work through all questions. However, if we are short on time, we'll be sure to answer all questions post today's session. A recording of this session, as well as all the Q&A, will be made available for you to review or for sharing with your colleagues who weren't able to join us today. That completes the formalities, so let's get into today's session. The service request offering within Transactive Global allows you to submit, track, and manage your service requests in channel and be a single entry point into the bank, providing you with a new preferred channel to engage with ANZ, as opposed to the phone or email channels you may currently be utilising today. Let's go into the reasons why this is our preferred channel. This centralised single sign-on platform takes all the guesswork out and will route your requests to the respective teams to action. Or it may even be smart enough to action it in a matter of seconds via straight-through processing. It will improve overall efficiency, save valuable time, and fits in perfectly with your existing support model and escalation framework. What's even more exciting is that it's available around the clock. So regardless of your time or location, you'll be able to receive ongoing support any time of the day. Before we start navigating around the site itself, I'll provide a disclaimer and notify you that this is not a live customer site. It's being utilised for training purposes only. Please also note, given that this is a test environment, it may behave a little different to our live customer sites. I've just logged into ANZ Transactive Global, and I'm currently on the main home screen, which is the default landing page. The site itself will be very familiar for most of you. This feature has been designed to have a consistent look and feel as the existing products already held within the platform, making it extremely intuitive and very user-friendly. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a few different options available. This will depend what products have been enabled, and therefore everyone's profile may look different based on your settings. Today, we'll be focusing on the service request menu. In order to see the service request option in your navigation menu, your site must first have service requests activated, and an applicable service request role must also be assigned to your user profile. Once you click on the Service Requests tab, you'll be presented with the main grid, and you'll notice 4 submenus appear under the main service request menu. These are Payments and Transactions, Digital Channels, Accounts and Legal Entities, and Upload Documents. The options available will depend on your service request role that's been assigned. Each menu has a history grid that allows you to view previously submitted requests under the respective menu. This includes the request ID, request status, and the request type. You also have the ability to search through the grid, filter your search, and rearrange the grid by simply dragging out each of the columns. You can also save these settings so that it will be the same next time you log in. Today, I'll be showcasing a request from each of these 4 menus, starting with our newest service request feature called Generate Account Confirmation Letters. This is located under the Accounts and Legal Entities menu. Firstly, to provide some background on account confirmation letters. These are otherwise known as bank confirmation letters, or you may know them as account letters. These are otherwise known as bank confirmation letters and will be presented on an ANZ letterhead and will include details of your ANZ account. These documents are now available for you to download instantly, which you can forward onto your clients or suppliers, assuring them that they are dealing with or paying into your specific ANZ account. If we click on the new icon, we'll be presented with all available service requests relating to accounts and legal entities. The number of service requests you see here does vary between Australia and New Zealand. For example, if your site is New Zealand only, you will only see Generate Account Confirmation Letter. For our attendees in Australia, you will see other service requests such as Request Account Closing Balance and requests under the Manage Statements and Manage Bank Feeds subheadings. After navigating into the General Account Confirmation Letter link, you will need to select the account that you want to produce a letter for by using this pop-up. You can select up to 10 accounts per submission, but for this demonstration, I will select 1. Once the accounts are selected, for the accounts domiciled within Australia, you will have an opportunity to also select what fields you want presented in the letter. This can be done using the Field to Print drop-down. This will default to both account legal entity name and account descriptor. However, as you can see here, there are options to have only one or the other, dependent on your preference. If you're unsure what your account descriptor is, you can click on the View hyperlink, and this will display the account descriptor. Here we can see the descriptor value is currently set to Test Descriptor 123. If you ever need to change the account descriptor, you can do so using the Amend Statement Preference service request, like the note says here. The Amend Statement Preferences request is also fulfilled via straight-through processing, meaning this can be completed as soon as you submit the request without requiring any manual intervention. I'll quickly navigate to Amend Statement Preferences to demonstrate how easy it is to amend the account descriptor value. After clicking into Amend Statement Preferences and selecting the account, select Amend, and you will see the account descriptor field available, which you can then edit. In this example, we have Test Descriptor 123, but I'll change this to Test Descriptor ABC. After typing in the new value, select Save and proceed to the Review and Submit screen. Once I submit, a pop-up with the request status and reference number will appear on the screen. I will then click View Request Details, where I can see the amendments that I've made upon submitting the request and the status of the request. Now that I have successfully amended the account descriptor to my liking, I will navigate back into the Generate Account Confirmation Letter request. After I select my account and click the View button, we can see the updated descriptor is now present on the account. I can then proceed within the web form to review and submit screen and acknowledge the important information before clicking Submit. Once the pop-up appears, this confirms that our request has now been submitted in system. And as for the document itself, we would need to wait for the request to go into a successful status, which is the same messaging that we see here. If we view the service request, you'll be able to see a full summary of the request that you've just submitted along with the audit history. This audit history will provide you with timestamps of when the request was lodged, as well as the username of the individual who submitted the request. Now that the request is in a successful status, the confirmation letter is now available via the download icon. You can also use the Download All button, which would come in handy if you selected up to 10 accounts, and this will simply download all the letters into a single zip folder. This is our newest feature to be introduced into the ANZ Transactive Global Service Request application. As you can see, everything was completed on the spot and provided the full self-service experience. We encourage everyone to start utilizing this new and exciting feature. We are looking at progressively enhancing each request to have them completed via straight-through processing. We have also recently uplifted the delete account request to be processed instantly. You can find this request under the Digital Channels menu, like I'm showing you now. Just like the previous request, you will need to simply select an account using the pop-up. And as you proceed through the web form upon submitting the request, this will instantly remove the selected account from your ANZ Transactive Global site. Now, whilst we do aim to have all requests completed instantly, there are still some which currently fulfilled by teams here at ANZ. This largely includes our upload documents requests. Under Upload Documents, after clicking on New, this will again show us the full list of requests available under this menu. As you can see, there are requests related to payments and transactions, accounts and legal entities, and digital channels. While the requests do require you to scan and upload a physical form, you can still manage and track these and obtain real-time status updates through email notifications right through to when the request is complete. You'll also be able to view a full audit history and activity log. While the fulfillment may not be as quick as straight-through processing, there is still plenty of benefit by submitting these using the upload function. One tip we have for the upload document request, which you might not be aware of, is the ability to complete bulk requests by uploading multiple documents into a single submission. For example, if you needed to attach multiple account opening forms, you can do so by using the drag and drop function. Each submission isn't limited to a single form. You can upload multiple forms for the same request and track these under a single submission ID. Please just be mindful that each document cannot exceed 10 megabytes. Another tip we have is the utilization of the General Enquiries feature. Under the Payment and Transactions menu, if you're attempting to lodge a request but you're unable to locate a suitable category from the list, you do have the option to submit a general account or transaction inquiry. For transaction inquiries, this web form will allow you to locate a specific transaction and include any additional notes or actions as required. This means if you needed to trace a transaction or place a return of funds request for transaction types that you can't find under any other request, then you can do so using this feature. And like all requests, the benefits of live tracking and secure in-channel communication will remain the same. So these are just some examples of the service requests from each menu. The final installment of our session today will be focused on the service request permissions, as well as additional support material that is readily available for you to access. We'll take you through to our online help portal where all this information is stored. You can access this at any time using the help icon located at the top right corner of your Transactive side. Once there, you can scroll down to the service requests link, and a number of useful resources will be available for you to view. I do recommend you set some time aside to familiarize yourself with these links. There is a lot of valuable information here that will support you in making the most out of the service request capabilities. A breakdown of each service request can be found under Service Request Types. If we expand each category, you'll be able to see a description of the request and any approvals that may be required before the request can be sent for processing. This will help you anticipate which requests do require approval before they can be processed. If you're ever unsure on how to create a particular request, you can select a category under the Create Service Requests heading, and a breakdown of the service request will be available to you, along with screenshots and step-by-step instructions. For more information around permissions for each role, you can find this under Administration, User Management, User Permissions. Here, you can find a breakdown of each service request role that's available. This will also highlight whether a role is ANZ managed or company managed, as well as the relevant service request menu these roles can access. As always, we encourage you to submit any and all feedback you do have around our digital capabilities via the feedback link that can be found in the online help portal. Alternatively, you can reach out to your ANZ representative. We'll now move on to the QA portion of today's session. We've had a couple of questions come through during the session. I'll do my best to answer as many there as I can. If we don't get around to answering all questions live, we will respond to all questions via the Q&A chat function. The first question I have is, will I receive email notification updates for all requests that I have submitted? Great question. So for requests that are processed via straight-through processing, they will not require any type of manual intervention from ANZ. So for straight-through processing, all of the information in regards to the service request will instantly be made available to you through the service request. But when it comes to requests that require ANZ to manually do something on our side, you will receive email notifications prompting you to log into Transactive Global and see what the update might be. This could be for something such as additional information that might be required. And once you log in, click onto the service request, you'll be prompted with what that missing information is there. The next question is, why can't I locate any NPP transactions when in the Return Incorrectly Received Funds service request? Again, another great question. So it does depend. When you're in the payment and transaction menu, there are some filters that can apply. However, the transaction inquiry request doesn't have any filters. So when we're talking about identifying a transaction, you can follow the method that we touched on previously. And you can type in free-form text in the field that's available, exactly what action is required for that specific transaction. So as always, I guess maybe something to point out, if you can't locate or you can't source something within the payment and transaction submenu, you always have the ability to lodge a general account or transaction inquiry, and there's always the ability to freeform your query in the space there. And once again, you've got the added, I guess, ability to track it and receive live updates through the platform as well. The next question is, will the stop paper statements request mean we will no longer receive statements for that account? The stop paper statement request is in regards to receiving statements via post. If you are updating the statement method, this will be changed across to an e-statement, which can be accessed in Transactive Global. So it removes the need to have those physical paper statements sent out to you in the post. But we will still provide you with your account statements. It will just be in a digital sense within the Transactive Global platform under e-statements. Fantastic. So that brings today's Service Request Showcase webinar to an end. I would like to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day to join us, and I hope that you did find this session helpful and very informative. A reminder that a recording of this session, as well as the Q&A, will be added onto the ANZ Digital Services Hub website in the coming days, should you wish to revisit anything that I've spoken about today, or even share this with your colleagues. You can get there by scanning the QR code that is currently on the screen, or by clicking on the Hub icon next time you log into ANZ Transactive Global. Before we end the session today, a quick look ahead at our upcoming schedule of the Transactive Global training webinar series. Our next session is on Thursday, the 11th of July, and this session will be targeted to our users who are new to ANZ Transactive Global. Registration can be completed by clicking on the registration link under the upcoming webinars section, so please keep an eye out on anything that may be of interest to you. That concludes today's session. Once again, thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we look forward to seeing you in the next ANZ Transactive Global webinar. Thank you.